Okay, welcome back to part three. I'd like to thank you for still watching and still being along with the ride and just I was gonna say subscribing, but just being along with the ride and still watching the content because you could have been watching anything else. You could have been giving your time to anything else. So I'd like to say thank you for just giving your time to me, your brief, very important time. I'd like to say thank you for that, and then just thank you for watching this. I really want to appreciate you for that. I thank you. But we're going to get into part three. I've got my notes here. Don't worry. And part three is basically what I call stay out of the gray. And, it's very fitting because I have a gray jacket on. But anyway, it's stay out of the gray. And I'll start this off with, let's say, for example, there's the color, let's just say the color white. We're looking at a canvas, and let's just say white over here. It's all the bright side. It's all the, it's all the roses and rose petals and butterflies, kitty cats, doggies, and shit. All that. My point is, you get it. It's like the positive side, and this has nothing to do with race. I can hear you thinking that. No, this has nothing to do with race. Let's just say this is like whatever. It's the bright side. It looks a little bright on my camera right here, but whatever. It's the bright side. Then let's say right here is the gray area. It's not light or dark, it's just gray. So then let's say right over here is the dark, all gloom, doom, and destruction, and fucking Dracula's castle and shit. Anyway, what I want you to do is when you first go on to this journey, because if you've been following it, you've been doing it correctly, you've been using the methods of like the stop method, you've been journaling how you're feeling, you've been writing down exactly when you use that stop method, when you, because it's very powerful. I'm serious. Use that stop method, y'all, and then use the deep breathing. And I'm gonna give y'all content to also go look at as well. But it's very powerful when you're starting to do that. So what I'm telling you is that I want you to stay out of the gray. Now, by stay out of the gray, because the gray is neither light nor dark, by stay out of the gray and that's very subjective, I'm telling you to, I'm giving you a way to essentially avoid what I would call toxic shame. Because the gray content, in my opinion, could be content to where it's almost like you either seen it on accident or either you've let's just say, or it's wasn't porn, but it's not content that is very approvable. So it's not porn, but it's not content that isn't appropriate, basically. So let's say, for example, you're scrolling Instagram, and I guess why I could be a good teacher on this is because all this shit has happened to me. But let's say you're scrolling Instagram, right? And you just got off work, you're mindlessly scrolling, doom scrolling. We'll talk about that a little bit later in this video as well. You're doom scrolling, you know, and then out of nowhere, you happen to see a edit of where it says Dora, yeah, like Dora the Explorer, the girl little backpack or whatever, and it says Dora then versus Dora now, and then the now part is basically, let's just say, some naked woman, or it looks like she's somewhat naked, but you can see her backside, and she's twerking. So then let's say you scroll right past that, and then but basically you kind of got caught in the fly right there. And then let's say another example is because and I y'all might really see me open up on this because again this is a topic that I'm very passionate about. So if you have to see me edit it out and you see me come back with red eyes, it's probably because I was crying. So let's say another great content is and I'll just put it out there. I was I think for a long time I was very insecure, or something that very much bothered me because I had a very bad experience about it. was I was very insecure about my penis size, and I think the reason why I was insecure was because I just happened to have a bad experience with a woman. It wasn't my wife, but I happened to have a bad experience with a woman to where I'll just let's just say we were in person, talking about doing it and whatnot, and then one thing led to another, and I had took it out, and then she looked at it in like disgust and just kind of left out the room. So when she just left out the room, I think that, and then maybe among like other things as well, and other experiences that I've had, is just I think that made me very insecure about my size. But what's funny was it's just that that really affected me deeply. So, and I've learned to like love myself and everything, and then just be very proud of who I am as a person, and then who Yah made me to be, who the Most High made me to be, and everything. But I think that's just something that it caused me to have to be very insecure about my size about, and then also just coming up in like middle school. I was a very late bloomer, so I would always kind of look at, not, because when I was coming up, we didn't have the I know like a lot of older people talk about this where they had like the gym classes where they were actually showering. I didn't see any of that. That didn't happen to me. But my point is that I just felt like, from my own personal belief at the time of just like coming up and whatnot, that I just had a very insecurity about it. I really did. And it was just something that it was I very much had like struggled with for a long time. So I was always I would be thinking or trying to research ways that would make it bigger. So I had I mean, it's stupid now that when I think about it, but I would be trying to look at videos on like seeing if there was a pump or there was an extender, or just these devices to make it bigger. But basically, what would happen is I was trying to make it bigger. So how I put myself in the gray area one time was, I remember I was going to a website, and then as I was like going to a website, I remember the website was showing a before and after picture, and I didn't see, not the website didn't have any the website didn't have like people fucking on it, obviously, like a porn website, but it just showed like, a woman and then a man posing and showing, the after effects of his size. So when I saw that, I immediately ceased and desist and then clicked off. And then this was after I had like started my journey to be clean, but I'm using that as an example of, as a gray area, to say, what if I had have just saw them, getting it on? What if that could have been something that really could have affected my journey, and then it could have just gone to just very much a very dark place that I don't want to go back to, and a very dark place that leads to nowhere but broken promises and just broken faith. I don't want to go back down that road. So another gray area, or another example of it, and you'll notice I give various examples. Another one would be, so because I was still very much had some insecurity behind it, and I still very much, and now that I realized that was insecurity behind it, even though my wife was very, I'm not going to mention her name, I'm not going to say her name, I'm just going to go ahead and go on with it. But even though my wife was very, I would say, she had told me that she was okay with my body. I'll just leave it at that, because I don't feel like going into or using vernacular like that. She's a very honorable woman. I don't want to shame her name like that. So another gray area incident was because I was trying to research and make it bigger, was trying to go ahead and like I seen a video where it was a guy, and this guy was on YouTube. He was explaining, and this is like for people who are watching. This was like again probably like when I very first had started on this path, as I should say. This was he was explaining that oh yeah, this herb will make it bigger, but he was basically explaining that this is what you do. You have to get make sure you have a slight arousal. So for I guess for all my men out there who kind of understand what I'm saying, you know, like if it's slightly aroused, then it will have a little bit of blood flow. It's not like you can do intercourse with it, but it's a little bit of blood flow. So I would look at it wasn't porn videos. Like I didn't go to YouTube or I didn't go search up a porn video. I didn't go look at something that was really crazy erotic, but I would just look at something that or listen to something, whether it be like a contemporary romance book or just I would or maybe have I would just look at something to where it's like a video, like you know those videos where maybe you see like those videos of those podcasts or something to where it's like maybe you see a woman describing that she got ran through by like 8 different dudes, and again I'm not proud of this, but because now that I look back on it, I see that that is wrong. You know, I don't look back on it and think with fondness. I look back on it and see that that was wrong. So that's why, again, I'm sharing my journey and I'm sharing these things with you all so that you don't make those same mistakes. So basically, I would, you know, I noticed, okay, that gave me a slight pinch. And again, still how very fucked up my mind was at the time. So I would just maybe use a device or I would just kind of try to extend it. You know, if you probably have tried to make it better, bigger, you've probably heard of jelking before. I would try to do that. And then after I would make it bigger like that, after I would stretch it, I would do that to then go ahead and say, okay, all right, I made it bigger. Okay, all right, stop. And so I went through jelking routines like that, sometimes just twice or just sometimes 3 times a week. And then I would do this just because I wanted it to make it bigger because I just feel as I still had, I think I didn't heal the little hurt child inside. So I still very much felt like I had to do this. So I felt like, okay, you know, I want to do this. And then it would go through in my head to where it's like, oh, well, you know, this is just something that you want. It's not weird. You're not watching porn. And I think that's why it felt a little justified on my mind because it seemed like, okay, you know, you're not watching porn, you know, so it's not really a big deal. And then the guy on YouTube was actually describing this. He was explaining that, hey, you know, there's nothing wrong with looking at beautiful women online that you find attractive and then doing this activity. So that's why I would do that. But to go into that gray content, I don't want you to go into that gray content. I don't want you to be into it because yes, while it is not porn, it's still very much not appropriate. And you know what the gray content may be for you. Maybe for you, the gray content could be a woman online who's twerking. That's gray content. What I not great, but gray, like the jacket content. So I want you to avoid that and stay out of the dark here, because if like let's just say you're in the light and then you have an activity that is taking you to the gray content, yeah, you might not ever step back into that dark content, but eventually what that gray content can do is it could lead you to, I would say, what is called toxic shame. And for me, what led me to that toxic shame was when I had seen this YouTuber talking about women online trying to make dudes relapse because apparently there's like around, like, if you've ever heard of like No Fap November, there's basically, you may have like some women who get online and they're trying to make dudes fap off or whatever. But basically, that video had triggered my thinking about how you do have content online that is pretty much like in the gray content, but it is made to make you want to go to this person's OnlyFans, or want to go to this person's website to where you can subscribe to and do things like that. And since you are on a honorable journey now to where you don't look at that type of shit no more, that is no longer your lifestyle, you don't even want to be involved in the gray content right here. You want to stay completely in the light. So that's what I'm sharing. And then I'll share a couple more stories with you here. So I remember one was, and this is why you don't want to, this is why you want to delete Instagram and then stay off of YouTube Shorts as best as you can. And then even if you are on YouTube Shorts, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm still on YouTube. But what I do now is, because I can control the algorithm a bit. What I do now is I don't watch anybody who is probably like talking about sex. And what I mean is, like, they're sitting on a podcast talking about it. I don't look at that anymore. I don't look at hearing about crazy Reddit stories of sexual experience. I don't look at that anymore. I don't look at any of that anymore. So that's what you want to do by staying away from that gray content of area. And another thing is, I'll give you another one here. I remember, because I was doom scrolling, I got caught one time where I was, just coming out of the. And when I say I got caught, I realized that my conscious mind had kicked in here. So basically, I had clicked on the video of this dude, because I don't want to say his name because I don't want to give him no power. But basically, it was a guy who was talking about basically just, he his general content would be on YouTube talking about like how to stroke it or whatever. But for all the adults who are watching this, use your mind. You know what a stroke it means. So basically, he put up this video of reviewing that was basically. So how I can say it is, like, you see my gray, that you not the gray, but you see the shadow right here. So basically, the camera wasn't turned towards him, and the camera was turned towards the wall. So all you could see was just the shadow. So then, you hear this, I guess, woman reacting to whatever, you put two and two together. You hear this woman reacting to, I guess I'll just say, getting railed here, because I don't want to say any say any words that may drive somebody to go back and do something on their while they're on this clean journey. But when I realized exactly what was going on here, I immediately left off of it, and I unfollowed it, got it out of my algorithm. So I'm saying this to say that, if, let's just say, you're on YouTube, or you happen to be on Instagram, and you happen to come across content like that, it's probably a good chance that Instagram will probably start allowing things like that, or things of that nature, but this time where you can actually see the insertion and exertion. And I didn't see him inserting and exerting anything in her, but it's just, if you looked at it long, you knew what was going on. So that's why when I understood exactly what fully was going on here, that's why I left. And even though I saw the title of, you know, last night reviews, when I fully understood what was going on, I left. And that's another reason why you don't want to be in the gray content here, because it's so easy to cross back over into that dark content. So that's what I'm trying to teach you here. Stay in that light. Don't go into that gray content. And don't go into the gray content. That could be applying to like anything as well, or just anything in life here. So another one that I'll give you here is that, for example, in this one I couldn't really see too well, or I guess I'll give you two more here. This one I couldn't really see too well. It was on Instagram. That's the crazy part. It was this. video or this short or whatever, because when you get lost in Instagram shorts, you keep scrolling and just doom scrolling, doom scrolling, to where you could read something and it doesn't even register in your mind actually of what you just read. So, and I think that's also what happened when I was when I saw the thing of the dude, like his gray shadow and whatnot. I just it didn't register in my head, and then when I realized exactly what was going on, I left off. I just cease and desist. So what I'm saying is that, and I'm thankful that I didn't. Now that I think about it, it wasn't actually showing fully exactly what was going on, because that would have probably just caused me to relapse for sure. So what I'm saying is that, well, back to what I was saying. Like, again, I'm a motor mouth. So what was going on was on Instagram, it was this, and this just shows you how desensitized our society is to shit now. It was this, now this was blurry, but you could barely see it, but it was this, I guess, dude who was railing this chick at a bar, and it was like you could tell somebody was recording it from like the other end of the bar, like not the face end, but like you could just kind of see the dude and you could see the motion of what was going on. So I didn't, I came across it. I didn't see it at first, and then when I looked a little closer and saw exactly what was going on, then and I realized that that was happening. And again, I didn't see any body parts exactly, but I just saw the motion. I cease and desist and left. And it's just sometimes you can see that, and because of doom scrolling, it doesn't actually register fully what's going on inside of your head, inside of your conscious mind. So your body can go on autopilot, or your mind, as I should say, can go on autopilot, because your attention span just isn't actually there because of doom scrolling. You're just kind of falling into a endless pit of just consuming. So that's why I'm telling you, you want to cease and desist, and you just want to stay away from all gray content, because that will cause you to go back into that. So that was my experience. And another experience that I had, and again, I'll be a motor mouth, but I think this is great for me. I think this is something that Yah has beseeched on me to help you all out there. So another thing is, like, I remember, even if the reason why I say you want to stay away from that gray content, or you want to stay away from those things that will tempt you or have you go on things of like triggers and whatnot, is I remember even back when I still did had Instagram, and I'm not proud of this, but I mean, only way you can say it is say it. Remember, there were these black women who had started twerking, and they were twerking on a I think it was like a mountain, or it was like supposed to be a slave dungeon or something. So I had, because I hadn't pumped, I had went and grabbed my pumped from when I saw that, because it's like they aroused me, and then I pumped up. And for those of y'all who don't know, when you use a pump or something like a penis pump, it's not to get ejaculation. What it is to try to just pump and get air inside of the little tube that it has, and then cause it to swell up. So that's what I was doing, because I thought, again, for I, I'm not proud that I even did that. Now I think about it, because you're supposed to be you're supposed to be happy with what you're born with. So that is something that, I pumped on it. So I'm not proud of that when I did it. But now, now I look back on it, hindsight is 2020. I can see it clearly. Although it wasn't porn, it was in the gray area. And even if, like, for example, another example is, let's say you just happen to see maybe a page online to where it's like you see, like, and let's just say these women aren't doing anything provocative, they're just kind of doing amazing feats, but they just happen to kind of slightly arouse you. What's going to happen is, before you know it, you're probably going to remember the name of that page, and then you'll go to it even a couple of times. So you'll do that. So what's going to happen is, and I did it before, I'm guilty of it, even when I started my journey, but because I had seen that video probably months ago where the guy was talking about, oh, well, it's not porn if it slightly arouses you while you're trying to get bigger on your journey and make it bigger and whatnot. It's not porn if it slightly arouses you. And I think because I believe that, and because I was still dealing with the little hurt child inside of me, I still wanted to get it bigger and make it bigger. And it was stupid. It could have cost me my marriage. It could have cost me my vow with Yah. And it just really wasn't worth it. So what I'm telling you is to stay out of the gray area and stay over here in that light and just cease and desist. Yeah, you could remain, I mean, yeah, you could leave that dark area, but be in this gray area right here, and technically, you'd be okay. But what I'm telling you is to cease and desist, man, with all that, because eventually you're gonna mature even more, or her, or woman, if you're watching this, whoever is watching this, eventually you're gonna get to the point to where you cease. You'll look back on it, 2020, and you'll realize, not 2020. You'll look back on it because hindsight is 2020, and you'll realize that that type of content just isn't right to consume. And it's not right to consume content to where even if it's not porn, it's somewhat arousing you on. Like, it somewhat has some type of an arousal factor on you. That's weird, man. You weren't made to be connected like that. So you want to cease and desist, stay out of the gray area, and just completely come over here to this bright area where my camera is. So that's what you want to do. Again, thank you for watching this. I'll go on to discuss my next part in part 4 over here. We'll get to that, but it's not too many parts to this course, because if I'm being real with you here, I didn't want to make too many parts, and I didn't want to put too many damn edits in this shit, because I just want to give you this to where you can get it and go to where it's easily on demand. You can get it right back. It's not too hard. I don't like wasting all that time. But anyway, thanks for watching this. I'll see you in the next one.